I think the first thing I want to say is I used to always share first in a group, and I made it my mission to cultivate a space of really listening. Um, and if I reflect a moment on that, I always wanted to go first because there was anxiety in me that just wanted to sprout out what needed to be said so that I can relax. And that was one of my edges. So, how do I stay silent whilst listening to everyone, whilst there might be some anxiety in me? And I didn't do it consciously. First, I thought I'll do it, and then it just happened. And I find myself going towards the end. And as soon as you said it, Sandra, I thought, oh my goodness, does it look like I'm choosing to go last? And then I thought, oh, maybe that's just how it's meant to be, and it's okay. And so that was the one reason, anxiety. The other one was, what do I say? And is what I'm going to say be heard in the way that it will not only give expression to my experience, but also serve those that's listening to it? And so that's what I used to think. Now I'm not just literally listening to Valerie and completely overwhelmed by, it's a pity she's not here. I would have loved to say to her, but she'll probably listen to the replay. So, um, what's the word? Just express so clearly what's happening inside, and it's so beautiful. And then listening to Genevieve with a very different energy, and you sharing your experience, and Sandra yours. And I'm just realizing, as I always say, we are all just reflections of each other. What each one of us is going through, we are all going through, just in other bodies. And so coming back to the questions, when the questions came, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, where was I 6 months ago? I, for the life of me, can't recall. And I was trying to think, where was I? And what I remember the very first leading edge session. I was sitting in my mother's small little room on a small little chair, trying to balance my laptop on my knees just to be part of, because there was this yearning to connect to a community. And then I just quickly went 6 months before that, and then where I am now. So that's the reflection I've done when the questions came. And I realized that a year ago, I was living in one of the cities, which is the most toxic, probably in the world, where the reins of fear is just loose everywhere. And while I was living there and transmuted what needed to be transmuted, there was this yearning and the dream in my heart to just be where I need to be, not knowing where that is going to be, but knowing that the answers will be shown to me every step of the way. And I followed each one of those steps. So I'm reflecting on the second question, practical examples of what has shifted. So practically, I moved from the most fearful place in the country, even continent, I want to go as far, to the most peaceful and serene place in the country, and probably continent. And that is quite a shift. So that's the one thing. Second thing is I used to reach out everywhere. I want to read this, listen to this, reflect on this, master my art of channeling, master my art of practicing presence, mastering my art of refining all that I'm becoming. And why I'm saying that is I realized that my beingness became the leading edge. So the edges of my body that was in a place of fear is now in a place of pure, pristine, serene love that has softened my edges. All the hundreds of communities that I belong to just fell away. All the in on social media and in physical form. The people that was around me where I used to live isn't around me anymore. The communities I was part of on social media, I'm not part of anymore. Now I'm in a whole new community that's loving me with open arms as I am, as I am. I remember the first day when I entered this environment. There was just people who started to love me. They didn't even know who I am. And there was no conditions to it. It was, here you are. And from that moment, I've just been myself. I didn't try to pretend to be anyone else like I used to. And every person that's in front of me, I notice, I'm consciously aware of why Sophia has placed them in front of me, what they're showing me the whole time. And then also another physical example, while being in my mother's small little room, I was confronted with our relationship. Everything that I showed to her, she reflected back to me things about her mother, my father, all of that. And so graciously, I could just be fully present to all of that. And move even further and further and further and further away from that and more fully into me. We are now witnessing all this behavior of not only my mother, but others around me. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I've transformed all of that. I'm now just this loving place of witnessing all that is happening. And the edges has become so soft that I've found this place within me from each one of my 10 toes up to my calves and my knees and my legs and my bum and my stomach and my back and my heart in the front and the back and my arms and my neck and my head. And I know with every cell, every challenge that I've been with has purified each one of those cells and all the spaces around it to be sovereign in all that I am. I'm surrounded by a house now that's complete, that I've moved into, symbolizing the physical house within me, which Sophia has moved into. And there was many times that I bought something and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, a year ago, I would not have bought this, but I would have loved to have it in my house. And now I do. My house smells beautiful and it's filled with everything that I love. So it is a reflection of what I think Sophia would love, if that makes sense. And I didn't do it because I was asking myself, would she love it? I asked myself, would I love it? What would I want to surround myself with so that I can become this safe sanctuary for myself? So that as I fill all of who I am and my whole house, not only this community, not only this country, not only this continent, but the whole planet knows Sophia's here, and she's here to anchor sovereignty in community. I could not have done this alone. I've been doing this through sacred initiation, through leading edge, now for a reset, and a few other things that I've chosen that just felt the most sovereign to me. And just to wrap it all up, the one thing that has drawn me continuously and consistently and always will is the word sovereignty, which I'm reclaiming to give birth to a new expression and definition of that, so that all of us together can be the one body of sovereignty in this cosmos. And so it is.
And so it is. Whew. Sarah, thank you so much for that. Whew, that dropped like in everyone's heart and in everyone's bodies. I can definitely feel that. Whew, thank you, thank you, thank you, just for mirroring the reflection of all of us. It just kind of like bringing them back and holding the mirror. That's kind of like it felt like how sacred it was, your share. And I also absolutely love this, the house of me. And it was very interesting because actually that's the words that I heard today in the morning. I was listening to something and it just like landed the house of me and reclaiming the sacred temple within ourselves, the house of me. I love this. So thank you so much for bringing this piece. Whew, just honoring all of your beautiful shares of each of you here and also honoring all of the beautiful shares and expressions for those who will be listening now or later. So for me,